In this bubbly baba dee doo doo. Greetings, listeners all around the world. You're listening to the Uniquilibrium podcast by Hypnoathletics, exercising your mind. I'm your host and guide, Hakeem Ali-Bocas Alexander, and I'll be talking about all things metaphysical, hypnosis, and meditation for relaxation, sleep, lucid dreaming, and beyond. Get ready. Here we go. All right, get ready. Here we go. So let's see. In the background, I'm going to play Hana no Seishin first. In the background. Those of you that are watching the video are not going to hear the background binaural beat called Hana no Seishin. If you want to hear that, if you want to relax just with the audio alone, then you'll have to check out the podcast. Anyway, this is called the practical applications of lucid dreaming, astral projection, and telekinesis. What are the practical applications? Are there any? Should I even be saying such a thing? Well, anyway, yeah, that's what we're doing. Where do I even begin talking about something like this right now? It's so crazy just because most of the time a lot of people are spending their time defending whether or not something that they know to be a fact, me included, experiences that we have are real or not. We're all spending this time defending against whether something that we know to be true through our experiences are real. And of course, look, one of the first things I'm always ready to admit, even though I have not been committed to a psychiatric institution, is that the experiences that I have are some kind of pathology. There's some kind of mental disorder. There are hallucinations that have no bearing on reality whatsoever. However, at the same time, I just don't... I'm having a really difficult time understanding how experiences that we have don't... Okay, here, like this. So, a person can have certain experiences that psychiatrists call hallucinations that cause a person to, quote, go crazy, end quote, or have a psychosis or whatever you want to put in quotations. And those are powerful enough to make people go crazy. But when someone else has those experiences and they don't go crazy, which is they're still able to function, and function silently, invisibly. No one really bothers with them because they do their job. They take care of all the business they need to take care of. Maybe they're a little eccentric, but they might even go to the gym a lot and have a really amazing body. Or they have really cool clothes or something, right, stands out about them. But other than that, for the most part, they're just really cool people. And so why is it okay for that person, but not another person? The other person, I guess because, in the book, The Natural Mind by Dr. Andrew Weil, he says that there are basically negative psychotics that are a burden to society and positive psychotics who are an asset to society. And that the last institution in America will be the National Institutes of Mental Health, will be the last ones to recognize the positive potential of psychosis, which is that psychotics may be the evolutionary vanguard of our species. because they have the ability to change reality simply by changing their minds. I would check out that book, 1972, Dr. Andrew Weil. Very great book, even in 2021. How many years is that? 28 plus 21, that's 49 years, almost 50 years. Wow. I wonder how old Dr. Andrew Weil is. Because even when I first knew about him in 2008, with his books that I learned about, like 8 Weeks to Optimal Health and all that stuff, dude had a big gray Santa Claus looking beard. Anyway, I hope he's still alive. I haven't checked on him for a while, but anyway. Where are we at? Oh, practical applications of lucid dreaming, astral projection, and telekinesis. Because I've been talking about telekinesis and I've been talking about lucid dreaming, but not just from a perspective of some kind of like, armchair philosopher, from someone who's had personal experiences with these things, and not only just personal experience, but really amazing and fun adventures with these phenomena that may not be readily accepted by mainstream culture. But I don't care about that right now. Let's just talk about this stuff. So what are the practical applications of lucid dreaming, astral projection, and telekinesis? And what do they even have to do with each other? Well, I'm glad you asked. Let me tell you. So first of all, lucid dreaming, astral projection, also known as out-of-body experiences, and telekinesis, can all be developed or strengthened in the same ways. And that's through meditation. And I have practiced a very specific type of meditation, which I call imaginative role play meditation. And one of the first steps in practicing imaginative role play meditation is in your mind's eye or your mind's ear or whatever other senses you want to access in your mind. And when I say mind, in this specific type of practice, I'm talking about first accessing your memory to recall a place that's familiar to you. Like this room that I'm in. I know this room. So if I look around the room, I know the places. I know there's a door over there that goes to the second floor. I know there are bedrooms and a bathroom, and then there's some stairs, and I know that right over here there's stairs to go down. And in your mind's eye, one of the first imaginative role play meditations to do is to find yourself in a room of this place or at the entrance of a place that you're familiar with, and then start to navigate yourself through there imaginatively. And I'm being very careful to use the word imaginatively because it doesn't always have to be visually. People who do not see, who are considered to be blind or legally blind, find themselves through different places, through different means. And there are ways that your being memorizes the way to get through these. And so you can use the different senses that you normally use to find yourself through places. And in that memory find yourself through these places that are familiar to you. But I want to mostly address people who have vision, even if just limited like I am. I for now have to wear contact lenses and glasses unless I get some kind of surgery or unless I take all the mercury out of my teeth or whatever's going on, right? So that's the first part of this imaginative role play meditation, is to navigate yourself around some place that you're familiar with in your mind only. And for some people, for me, sometimes this is a difficult thing to do, and I can imagine that it's difficult for some other people to do. But it's worth the practice, because the more I practice it, the better I get at it. And this is very important, using this type of meditation, because this type of meditation carries over into lucid dreaming, astral projection, and developing telekinesis. When you're able to stabilize your visions or other feelings or other senses, and you're able to guide yourself mentally through different environments using your mind, this becomes very important when you become aware that you're dreaming, because then you can steer and guide yourself through these different and new worlds and environments much more easily, because you've practiced a meditation before, which is very interesting. Something that you can do while you're awake will help you and assist you when you're dreaming while you're asleep. And by practicing this thing that helps you while you're asleep can also help you when you start to have supernatural, paranormal, metaphysical experiences like astral projection, where we supposedly leave our bodies and travel amongst the other worlds. We explore the realm of the dead. We enter the realm of souls, which then is also helpful. In telekinesis, or moving objects that are remote from us with our thoughts. And one of the first ways to do this is with random number generators. I don't know why. I don't know what's going on with those things. I don't know why that happens. But this is called micro telekinesis or micro psychokinesis, where we're able to influence the outcome of random number generators, or influence the outcome of a coin toss, right? Like if I say heads, right, and then I take this coin right here and I flip it and I want heads, and then sure enough, look at that. You see that it shows up on heads, right? So if I can do that, I don't know, and this is not a trick coin. So look, if you can see this, for those who are viewing this, I'm gonna turn it around. There's a tails on there, right? And that tails consists of, what is this, a silver? This is an American dollar. So there's an eagle on the tails part of that, and then of course there's somebody's face on there. So when you can influence a random number generator or a digital coin toss to give you more of the results that you decide ahead of time, and you can do this consistently or more often than not, that is significant. What's going on with my microphone? I should move myself. There's a lot of noise. This chair, why do chairs have to be so noisy? Anyway. Alright. I just wish I gotta find a quiet chair. Like this chair is I don't know, that's just very interesting. Such a freaking noisy chair. Alright. Why does it have to be so noisy? Anyway, so telekinesis, yes, we can influence at least a random number generator, and presumably I can create exercises and experiments that will help us, or anyone who's interested, to be able to develop these telekinetic abilities, to be able to move from the micro world of influencing electrons and photons and changing, the outcomes of random number generators, to being able to move things, lift up objects. Like I want my headphones to just come in my hand, right? I put my hand up and I'm like, like I'm trying to catch a baseball and just, right? But what would be the practical applications of that? So first of all, in the very basic part of something that we can at least talk about here is at least psychologically and mentally. And I'm talking about this not from the standpoint of a psychologist or a licensed mental health care practitioner, but as a clinical hypnotist who deals with with vocational and avocational motivation and self-improvement. And one of the problems that a lot of people have is with sleep, getting better sleep, relaxation, and then dealing in the realm of sleep. A lot of people want to have interesting experiences like adventures like in lucid dreaming. But before that, a lot of people also have problems with nightmares. And what I found is that one of the main practical applications of learning about lucid dreaming and astral projection, or at least the techniques that I use to practice having these experiences, help to alleviate nightmares. They help to stop nightmares. They help you, to be able to transform nightmares into dreams or into adventures when they're happening. And that's because what I spoke about earlier, the type of meditation, imaginative role-play meditation, some of the things that you do in imaginative role-play meditation are not, they're not, it's not solitary. It's not just one thing that you do. I might have spoken earlier about imaginative role-play meditation and said that, did I say anything earlier? Shit. Oops. I just said a naughty word. Well, fuck it then. So, one of the things about imaginative role-play meditation is that we can imagine ourselves doing many things. Oh yeah, I did talk about it. It was finding a familiar place that you know of, like, and I didn't explain it this much. It could be your home, it could be your workplace, it could be school, it could be any place that you're familiar with that you've been, maybe a place that you've visited or gone on a vacation, or like if you go to a beach very often. But I really like to talk about like my home and going through the different doors and down the steps and navigating yourself around it and finding a way to really get in touch with being able to have that ability to, in your mind's eye or mind's ear or whatever symphony of senses you're using, to be able to get really familiar with navigating around what usually is a physical world in the non-physical world of your mind. Because being able to do that transfers into the ability to go from just a lucid dreamer, which is someone who knows that they're dreaming, to becoming a super lucid dreamer, which is someone who controls many aspects of a dream. So in this case, you're better able to steer your conscious vehicle around the world of your dreaming state. Because if you can just sit down, eyes closed in a gaming chair, maybe some headphones on, listening to some meditative sounds, like right now we're listening to Hana no Seishin, which is one of my binaural beat frequency formulas that I created, right? So you can sit there and then you can imagine yourself going through the dwelling, right? That translates into the dreaming and the lucid dreaming world. You become more of a lucid dreamer when you're able to, or super lucid dreamer when you're able to control many aspects of your dreaming state. And there are a lot of different segments of the practice of imaginative, I had to yawn for a moment, imaginative role-play meditation. Yeah, however, what time is it? I have an excuse for yawning. It's 3:22 in the morning. Wow, 3:22. Look, I gotta show it just in case y'all don't believe me. This is significant. Oh, oop, that's floor. You know, it's not a bad picture. She's just lovely. But it's a photo I took of her. But anyway, but is it still 3:20? Yeah, it's still 3:22. That's an interesting number, though I'll talk about it another time. Anyway, I was yawning. I'm tired. That's why it's early in the morning. I need to go to sleep soon. I have something I need to do in less than 12 hours. So at least in the next 2 hours and 38 minutes, I should go to sleep. So the whole thing about this practice of lucid dreaming and how it leads into telekinesis. So first of all, a specific practice. Gosh, this chair is noisy. Okay, hopefully it doesn't bother you. Maybe this sounds cool to you guys. Anyway, but the whole practice of the three things: lucid dreaming, astral projection, and telekinesis. So astral projection. First, let's back up. Lucid dreaming. First of all, like the practice I talked about of oh, that sound is so cool. But the practice of imaginative role play meditations. There's a very specific reason why I use the word role play. Imaginative role play meditation is because there are different powers, superpowers to practice in this role play meditation. One of them is navigating yourself around familiar spaces, right? But there are different ways you can navigate yourself around these familiar spaces. You can levitate, float, or fly around these different places. You can walk through walls if you want to. You can practice imaginative telekinesis. You can open and close doors with your mind. You can lift objects and bring them towards you or push them away from you. You can manifest things. So you can manifest a pen and paper or a pen and a book. You can manifest a hammer and a screwdriver. You can manifest weapons like a sword or a gun. And these are the type of different role-playing things that you can do. Because what do you do with those things? What do you do with a book? Well, you can practice reading. You can actually use your mind and you can see words. Like right now, I can see the words. And I just close my eyes right now. If I focus just a little bit, I can see the words with my eyes open. Wow. Anyway, I'm not going to get into that open-eyed hallucination thing again right now. But that carries over. Being able to do that in your imagination, because there are many things to role play with. Why are you reading the book? Why do you have the hammer or screwdriver? Why do you have the gun or the sword? Right? Role play with that. Start doing that kind of stuff around the familiar environments that you go into and you imagine yourself moving through. And then, and then there are other superpowers. Like you can imagine yourself, like I said earlier, floating, flying, levitating around places, walking through walls, manifesting things, right? And so then how does this carry over into telekinesis? Well, first of all, in the same way that you role play yourself using these various tools and things like that, you can imagine yourself predicting or influencing different things to happen. So you can imagine yourself flipping a coin, and if you say the coin should land on tails, then when you flip the coin should land on... This is just a little bit too crazy for this podcast. Tails. For those of you, if you want to see the video, I just called it twice already. I mean, what are the chances? I don't know. Please someone tell me, what are the chances of that happening? I would really like to know. I just called a coin toss. Okay. Randomly, just 2 out of 2. It's 100%. It's not a lot to make an experiment out of yet, but I think that's pretty cool. Anyway, but telekinesis, right? Influencing physical systems with your mind, because many mainstream reductive materialist scientists consider the mind to be ephemeral, not real, or a product of the reductive materialism, right? Starting with physics, then it goes to chemistry, then biology, then psychology, and then consciousness somehow arises out of that. But again, the practical applications of this really comes down to empowerment. self-confidence. And the fact that when people learn how to do these things, they stop having nightmares. And I'm pretty sure I mentioned that earlier on when I started ranting about this. But it really does help. People who have problems with sleep, having different nightmares that they're being visited by various entities, like people who have religious problems, like demon encounters, or things like demon possession type of things, or just ghosts or monsters visiting them, alien abductions and different things like that. All basically the nasty, unwanted experiences that happen when things go bump in the night, when people are sleeping, when they have sleep paralysis, where they can't move, and they're like, oh crap, what the hell's going on in their mind? Somehow tells them it's because it's a demon or an alien abducting them, or maybe that's true and there are other interdimensional reasons for why the physical body seems to be having this experience and no one else can see it while it's going on, but it's another story for another day. I've already talked about that. But when you begin to practice this imaginative role-play meditation of being able to navigate through different spaces and being able to have different kinds of powers like flying, walking through walls, telekinesis, moving things towards and away from you, manifestation, being able to form things out of nowhere, whether they be educational tools or weapons. These things are so empowering that they help a person who's having nightmares to start to take control over their nightmares and not be afraid anymore. And from my experience, being able to do those kind of things is very empowering. They cease to be nightmares. You can begin to have adventures. When monsters visit and all these other things happen, yeah, maybe there's a little bit of fear there. But then you start to play in a similar level as they are, because then you start to understand this non-physical mental world a little bit more, and understand that through imagination and through a little bit of practice of mental control, through exercising your mind, you don't have to panic and completely live in fear, because there's something that you can do about it. There's something that you can do about being terrorized when these things happen. And again, I contend that it doesn't matter. My argument is that it doesn't matter if these are some kind of mild pathological situations, where people are seeing things, right? Or it's all in their minds. Okay, well, if it's all in your mind, there's something you can do about it. Unless you want to just continue to be a victim. Some people just kind of just want to just live scared and just be the victim all the time. And I'm not talking to you. If that's how you want to be, you want everybody to just pick up your slack and you just want whatever. I don't know. And then there's a lot of deeper things that go on with people who are just like that are deeper than I can even deal with, because that's not my scope of practice. But there's a lot of people who are just for no reason. No, stop it. You can practice some stuff. All right, you really can. And I think the reason why some people are like, stop, help, is just only because they don't know the tool. They don't have the tools yet, or they've never heard of the fact that using their imagination to role play having various superpowers can help them when they have these nightmare experiences. Again, and I'm going to coin that little phrase and develop that a little bit more, but a lot of people just don't know yet that the practice of having various superhuman abilities is helpful in overcoming nightmare experiences, because it empowers them. They may not have known before, but by accepting and beginning to practice that through meditation, through visualization, through imagination, these experiences then change from being nightmares and then become adventures. And I think that's very important for everyone. There was an idea that was just popping into my mind just for a second, and it slipped away, but it's so important about all of this. But anyway, but the fact that we can be empowered by using visualization and by using our imaginations is incredibly helpful whenever we have these nightmare experiences. That's the practical application of lucid dreaming, astral projection, and telekinesis. It's the fact that you can become empowered and that you can take on the nightmares on your own without having to fear going to sleep or being awake anymore. It's something that you can take care of on your own. Right? So let's do that.